It is that time of the week again, ladies and gentlemen. Time for another anime update because it has been an interesting damn week. And honestly, there's nothing else we can do but to get right into it because, hell, some of the we haven't seen some of this stuff before. And some of the things that were really high dropped right on down this week. So we're going to start at the bottom of the list. New thing of the week, Tiragonia. I think is how that's meant to be pronounced. It's a bit up in the air. This story is set in a fantasy world where monsters are real, mostly humanoid monsters, which is kind of odd. And inside of them, they have what's called a godstone. And if you crack the godstone open and drink some of the liquid inside, you gain more strength. Our main dude ate the entirety of an org, because we don't want to call them orcs for some reason. Godstone prayed to this wall and became a god bearer, essentially a guardian bearer, where they get red tattoos on their face when they amp themselves up. And now he's protecting his town, He's ended up with a little village of little people, which is what the dude in the middle is. And yeah, he's trying to keep himself secret. This week, we got to see both him boss out some serious ass kicking, but also we got to see an arsehole appear because the bureaucrats have come to town. God, do they suck. They are essentially the king's representative, and you do not tell him he's wrong. God, I just realized that I didn't have the sound. Fuck it, I'm not restarting. Now, this show hasn't popped up before because it's a pretty generic combat shonen. But there are some aspects of it that are really interesting. Like this week, we got to see guardians from other races, because we've seen like hostile enemy guardians before, because we've seen the orgs and I think they were the Mikoks, which are like gorilla people, but we haven't seen like a passive monster guardian, and we got to see that this week with a bunny person guardian. I think this is one of the first things that comes out every week. But it was great to see, and it's great to see this world slowly building out just almost entirely with fights, which is excellent to see. But that brings us on to our next one, which is honestly one of our biggest drops of the week. This is Fire Force, which last week was, I think, up in third. So this week we finally got to see the big fight between Leonard Burns over here and Shinra. And there were some parts of it that were really awesome, because like we got to see Shinra go peak form. His flames went blue because that's a hotter flame. If you weren't paying attention in high school chemistry. And yeah, he spends the entire episode fighting the shit out of this guy. It was a lame fight. Like, considering we just had Arthur versus Dragon, this did not... We've been waiting for 5 episodes for this. Like 5 episodes in the whole, 4 episodes just on everything going on around this fight. This let down so much. Like, I've heard people say every week, this is going to be the fight, this is going to be the fight. This was the fight, and it was shit. I'll be entirely honest. Like, yes, it's cool seeing Shinra go to his next form. This was just a letdown. You know what wasn't a letdown this week, though? This Unity Family Children. I love this bullshit. This week we got to see our academic sister, who is our bluehead sister. I'm never going to remember their names for the record. Wanted to test because she thought she'd had feelings of a body variety for the main character. And her way of testing that was the age-old test for, do I have physical feelings for this person? Twister. Yeah, love it. Because this does seem like some high school dumbassery, but I've never seen a girl pull this move. I've seen plenty of guys try and do this shit, but I've never seen it come from the other side. We also see our pinkhead sister get into a little bit of a, hey, I wish things were back how they were, by playing video games with her brother. And I love the fact that she's like, yeah, I've gotten so much better at this. I'm beating you constantly. And then he's like, I guess I'll start going seriously now. And fucking wrecks house. Love it. Love it so fucking much. And then at the end of it, we get to see our nervous younger sister tell all of the other sisters, hey, I'm actually in love with him. Which I thought the entire family knew at this point. Like, I thought she was just the Alabama cousin that everyone knows about, but we just gotta pretend it doesn't exist. But yeah, it was a fun watch. This show just doesn't let down. Next up, though, we have what was the last thing I watched this week? Go Loser Ranger. And this was a week of revelations and awesome fights, to be honest. We got to see the boss show up, who had been masquerading as the little brother of the detective, which was way out of left field. But so I had a little thing spoiled for me, and if you're watching this, you're well and truly into the way of spoiler territory. You're 6 minutes in, you shouldn't be watching if you're scared of spoilers. I found out that Chidori's weapons or items are the aspects of the Green Ranger. Like, all of the things he uses are just different parts of what the Green Ranger uses. And it didn't click. Like, I found out today that Chidori was the Green Ranger. That was fucking out of left field, though. I love the fact that all of his items are named after different sins. So, like, the Eyes of Greed, which is his little gecko that goes around. His weapon is the Hammer of Wrath. And Jesus, that was such a great fucking moment. Just Chidori walking out in his normal I don't give a fuckness, and then just wrapping around, having the teeth are terrifying. Like, in what world do you see that and think, hey, this is the protagonist? Oh, not protagonist, but these are the good guys. But we got to see them fight in a very altered universe against the snake boss. And I'm pretty sure that snake ran away. I'm pretty sure they let it escape. That pissed me off a little bit. But we also got to see the aftermath, which was the guy that was willingly being, like, taken over by that world, who was a teacher in the altered world, was like, yeah, I understand, I've got to be taken away now. This is what I got to deal with. Everyone else was pissed that they got released from that world. Every kid was like, hey, that was our ideal world. I'm like, how the fuck is that your ideal world? You were stuck in a hallucination of high school forever. No. Like, I'd love to go back. I would hate to be stuck there forever, though. But we're going to move on from that and go on to something a bit more happy-go-lucky. So we got Apocalypse Hotel. This week, we had amoebas show up, and the amoebas came for a date because the plant guy told them about this hotel, and I love the fact that they're getting their name out into the universe. The amoebas, we found out, like to drink. We also found out that, unfortunately, the Tanuki family likes to drink even more because there is nothing left in the house. So, how do we fix that problem? We're going to make our own distillery across the road. And now all of the Tanukis have a job because we have one Tanuki cleaning. The rest of them are going to make alcohol, and they are happy to do so because it means they get alcohol. They're not mad. Yeah, it was just a fun romp where you get to just see, you got to see all the things that go into making whiskey, and you got to see them, like, for a lot of times, get annoyed that theirs was nowhere near as good as the boss's. Yeah. This is a fun little thing. I really hope that the show ends with them finally building this goddamn onsen, because that's been like slowly being chipped away at the entire show so far, and it's been 50 years since it started. Up next, though, we have Windbreaker. This show was just such a good trans representation episode. We got to see. So last week we got to meet the trans character of Windbreaker, whose name is right out my fucking head. But it was great because we got to get their origin story this week. And it was shown to us by, hey, here's this old guy. His wife died recently. I want you to go over there and make sure he's okay. And that's a great starting point. But it turns out the old guy and his wife were the ones that really accepted our trans character for who they were, or who she was. And I love that they found an earring. And this is how the whole thing starts, because they found an earring. The old guy just happily takes it back because his wife lost his earring. And they saw this guy, white suit, pink shirt, and were like, this guy is a safe place. I love it. Very, very much, what's the word I'm looking for? Profiling? But it made sense. And the fact that what set them off was the wife leaves out some lipstick at one point and like, hey, I want to try this, but I'm a boy. I'm not allowed to tell them this. And the wife comes back in and is just like, hey, why don't you try this? They try it out. The guy comes back and he's just like, you look fucking excellent. I'm like, you are a top gentleman, my good sir. Yeah, this is just such a fucking good season. It's a lot less fighty than the first one was, because we basically got the fight out in the first 3 episodes. We beat the shit out of the evil guild. I feel like we're probably starting episode 8. I'm shooting my shot. Episode 8, we start getting back into the fights. We'll probably get something leading up to it next episode, but episode 8, I think we're actually going to start going back into fights. Speaking of fights that are constantly going on, can a boy-girl friendship survive? This episode had a moment that genuinely made me laugh loud enough that my family got annoyed at me. So this week we were meant to get the group study session at Himari's house, but Himari's brother hates the other girl's sister, so she and her entire family are banned from the household. So obviously we need to go to this guy's house, and that'd be great, except for the fact that his family's not home, and Himari, whatever the fucking name is, has club duties this afternoon. So it's just going to be the two of you to start off with. Turns out this girl has now confessed her love for the main character 4 fucking times. Not this one, the other one. And yeah, he's told her no every time. But props to her for keeping on trying. And obviously, she comes over with his sister, who works across the road in a shop. They come over right when they're in a compromising position. He has to blatantly apologize constantly. But what made me laugh so hard was at a point, Bluey here let slip that the other girl was his first crush. And she reacts so forcefully and so violently to this news of just grabbing her by the temple and slamming her into a wall. And it's just like, this girl is unhinged as shit. Why are we pretending like it's not hot? But no, why are we pretending like this isn't irksome? Because that is concerning. Yeah, it's a fucking great episode. After this, we have Catch Me in the Ballpark. And every week, I love this show. Every week, I cannot remember what happened in the episode. We had Sarah, I believe, who is the only high school representative, high school beer slinger. And I really appreciated the fact that she came out, was like, I don't have many regulars yet, except for them. And it's her mom and dad just sitting there. I was like, that is a great parenting. Like, yeah, we get to go and take care of something that we enjoy, but we also get to support our kid while we're doing it. And you know how they really supported their kid? They brought aunts, uncles, grandmothers, and the guy who lives across the street. I fucking loved it. We need more parents like them in the world. We also got to see like a clean out session where we find out that the rational cool girl that's their boss used to be a Garu or a gal, and that was nice. And I genuinely cannot remember what the third session was. But hey, those two, good enough to keep it going for the entire thing. At number 2 for the week though, because that was number 3, we have Classic Stars. And we finally get these guys singing together as a group. And it was kind of lackluster, I'll be honest. We also got to see a lot of training for it because Beethoven just still doesn't have the singing or the choreography down pat until everyone's just like, hey, why don't we just explain this to him like a boxer? Like, a boxer's nothing if they can't duck and weave. They have to have their timing down pat to be able to dodge shit. You need to be doing that in the choreography. Cool. That makes sense. Hey, you aren't hitting the pitch right. You need to hit the pitch right because if you are boxing and you weren't hitting exactly the right spot, you're not going to be doing the damage. Cool. We need to be practicing this too. I love the fact that all of this happened. They came up, they sang their song, they got the last slot in the entire thing, number 100. And they got shot down by the band that we saw at the very start of the show. We found out that band is called Discord, and they are so fucking good. But these guys also came in at 11th. They were not able to make it through to the next round, and I love it. Because they are not a well-oiled machine yet. They are not well done. They need to work on shit. And that is so good. We don't need more things that it's like, hey, we came out and we were perfect from the get-go. Nah, fuck that. Speaking of things that weren't perfect from the get-go, 2-Bit Hero X, and I'm only talking about the characters because this show has been flawless from start to finish. I do not think this has gotten below a 9 at all this season. But we are into the second episode of our second arc for this show, and fuck, I love this. We got to see the ramifications of this guy taking over another hero's name, because he is going by that old hero's name, just the new version of him. And it's electric powers, it's super speed, but it's also, hey, if my numbers go up because they're associating me with him, his numbers are going down. Being set up by the hero that you love because he doesn't want to lose his income, essentially, because most of his job is just selling merchandise now. And it's getting the bad guys that beat the shit out of you in the first place and got you your one trust, really. They're getting paid off to lie and say that he stole it and he orchestrated the entire event. That would have all been great. That would have all been fine. But what pushed it over is, I'm pretty sure we've only had like 2 episodes where we haven't had an episode with somebody dying. It's not Moon anymore, at least. But the other guy that's interested in the girl, dead at the end of the episode. But that's gonna wrap it up for the week. This is a long ass fucking episode. Yeah, if you're enjoying these things, let me know down below. Hit that subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and yeah, I'll see you next week.